They tell you artificial intelligence is a new toy, a helpful assistant, a shortcut. They tell you it's about progress. I am here to tell you it is a weapon. We are not talking about the next app, Chair. We are talking about the fact that three men, Musk, Zuckerberg, Bezos, have injected more capital into the AI infrastructure than the entire defense budgets of dozens of allied nations. Their wealth has nearly doubled in this AI gold rush. Their creations are not regulated. Their motives are not checked. And if you think that power is benign, you are not living in 2025. You are living in a fairy tale. He has an ungodly level of access. When a single individual controls the platform where millions get their news, and the satellites that connect the military, and the AI models that can rapidly shape public opinion, that is not a free market. That is a national security liability. His own creation, Grok, is trained on data he controls. How do we ensure that the algorithms driving our news feed today are not the same algorithms driving foreign policy tomorrow? If the government relies on an unregulated system, that system can be weaponized against the public. We saw the attempts to circumvent export controls, using cloud services to let foreign adversaries access American chips. That's why we passed the Cloud AI Act. But that's a band-aid. The ultimate power lies in the hand of the one who controls the source code, and that source code is currently sitting on a pile of unregulated gold. Meta's history is a case study in data exploitation. Now you give them generative AI, a tool that can create hyper-realistic deepfakes, clone voices, and simulate entire political campaigns, and what you have is not a social network. You have a threat to democratic veracity. They are building Llama, their open-source large language model. That sounds like a gift to the world, doesn't it? But an unregulated, open-source model trained on our data means every bad actor, domestic or foreign, has the blueprint to create chaos. Zuckerberg's vision of coexisting with AI is one where his AI sets the terms of that existence. We are allowing the builders of the most emotionally manipulative platforms to be the builders of the most powerful minds in history. It's a catastrophic imbalance. Bezos' power isn't in a new chatbot, it's in the data pipeline. AWS holds the cloud contracts for the CIA, the Department of Defense, and countless other agencies. Now, he's launching his own aggressive AI push, Project Prometheus, massive funding rounds, investing in Figure AI. The data that flows through AWS is the bloodline of our government. If a single corporation controls the AI that analyzes that data, they hold a systemic, unprecedented chokehold on national decision-making. We are outsourcing national security to a few thousand lines of code written and owned by an entity whose primary fiduciary duty is to its shareholders, not the Constitution. They talk about innovation. I talk about the human cost. If we fail to act now, and by now I mean before the next election cycle, before the next mass deepfake, before the next algorithm blocks access to justice, then we have signed away our sovereignty, not to a foreign government, to a handful of billionaires. The promise of AI is incredible. I see the world it can build. But to get that world, we need to legislate a firewall between these trillion-dollar ambitions and the public trust. We must demand transparency. We must demand a liability framework. We must demand that the algorithm can be cross-examined. We cannot let the American dream be rewritten by three tech moguls. This is not the end of the world. It is the end of the world as we knew it. And the clock is ticking.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chair, and thank you for calling this hearing. Since January, Donald Trump has used the full power of the federal government to attack Americans in cities across the country. In Donald Trump's America, you are at increased risk of experiencing militaristic operations in your home and Constitution. And we say that we take that oath seriously, but when it comes into actually doing something that looks like preserving that oath or looks like preserving the Constitution, we get a little wobbly, and I'm not really understanding what's going on. Freedom of press doesn't look like kicking out the Washington Post, or actually the Huffington Post has been kicked out. We know that the Associated Press has been kicked out, and now the Washington Post is not going to allow for op-ed